Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the City of Farmers Branch study session. The date is April 20th, 2021. The time is 4 p.m. And we will, I'll first make an announcement that Mayor Dye will not be joining us either today or into the evening in the regular city council meeting, so I'll be presiding over both meetings. So let's begin with A1, discuss regular agenda items. And I have one that I'd like to bring up. I'll just start off and on not I-9. It was on J5 is that we are taking action later in the meeting to appoint someone to the Trinity River Authority. And as you all know, I've served on that board for the last 4 years. And I think it is a fairly important that we keep touch with the Trinity River Authority, and it has led to our emphasis that we put on lining our sewers so that we're able to save our citizens money on our water rates. And so I think we need to decide on a representative for that before the regular meeting so we can avoid the discussion. So does anybody have, Crystal, you have?
Yeah, and I was talking, I saw that. I'm happy to participate. I know it's about three meetings, one meeting every quarter. Happy to participate if no one else is interested, but I'll defer to the rest of council in case anybody else is interested in that.
Right. Terry?
I too was extremely interested in that, so if council wants to consider me, I would put myself out there for it.
Okay. Michael?
Yes, I would be very interested in this. Surprise. Ties in with several interests that I have, just in economics and infrastructure and also sustainability. And I think as Mayor Pro Tem Norwood stated, it is important for the city, and I know the city saved, I think, about $600,000 last year through our efforts there, and I would like to be considered for it.
Okay. Mike, you and I can't be considered, but we do have an opinion here, and we do have a voice. So what do you have to say?
I think it's kind of not unique, but there is, I'm sure over time you've learned more and more and more about the category.
Right.
And what's going on in that space. And having somebody that has the potential to serve more than 1 or 2 years and maybe put somebody on that has a potential, assuming re-election to be more, I think there would be a benefit to that.
Right, right.
And that being the case, 3 great candidates. I like them all. No objection to any of them, but I think that might be better for the city to have that kind of stability and continued learning about the category, about what needs to be done and how it affects Farmers Bridge.
Right.
I would agree with Mike, and we definitely, I think you do need someone that's very interested in sustainability and someone that's really been advocating around that and really finding ways to ensure that we're able to move the needle on some of those things. And I know, Michael, you've been very interested in that, Mr. Driscoll. So I'll defer. I'm appointed to other organizations on behalf of the council, so I'll leave it up for discussion with Councilmember Lynn and Councilmember Driscoll. But I agree. I think someone that's going to be here for a couple of years that can really create some longevity, that's really interested in sustainability, would really be a great fit for this.
Yeah. Terry?
I didn't know that Councilman Driscoll was interested in this, but I guess seeing that he is, and for the long term, hopefully longer than a year, commitment to being on this, I would support that just so there's some continuity on that board representing the city.
Great, thank you. Sounds like we have consensus. Okay, thank you. That was the only item that I had to bring up, so I'm going to break Mayor Dye's tradition. I'm going to start with Councilmember Lynn.
Thank you. So I have not so much an issue, but I guess a little bit of an issue with items I2, 3, 6, 7, and 8. in that I would like to see them, this is a huge expense for the city to be on consent agenda. And even after my discussion yesterday with the city manager regarding this, who refreshed my memory that these were in the budget, I still think the optics of being fully transparent are worth some consideration here. And I would just like to see this maybe taken off of consent agenda and put on regular agenda for discussion.
Give me the items again.
Items I2, 3, 6, 7, and 8.
All related to the
All related to
building.
the building at the service center.
Okay. Discussion, council. Cristal.
By the way, I like your breaking of tradition, Council Mayor Norwood. I don't have any items, but in relation to Councilmember Lynn, to the issues that you're having with the items, my understanding is it just to ensure that we're able to just talk about it and refresh our memories on this? Because my understanding was that we did discuss these items already, and so I just kind of want to get a better understanding of the why behind Councilmember Lynn's pulling of the items, because I think we'd already talked about it. Is it just to kind of get a refresher for those that are listening on what the items are about, or?
Well, we've had new council member come on since this was originally discussed during the budget meeting. I would like to get a refresher. We're talking about spending $549,000 on consent agenda for basically one item. And I just feel as though that deserves a little more attention. I'd like to hear an update presentation from the facilities manager.
Okay. Mike, you got anything?
Yeah, I too was surprised a little because I had remembered it differently. But sometimes I forget something, or maybe I was out of the meeting when that was discussed, but I had no recollection that we were going to go back and do additional work. I did talk with the city manager, with Mr. Cox, and and he kind of laid out what I did remember specifically is that we're going to use the bays that are still there in the old service center, and that this was just a replacement for meeting rooms that are no longer effective. And I, at the very least, do recall a conversation about how they would all need to be refurbished and brought up to, a standard. And so after talking with the city manager and reviewing it, I am, I'm not against the project. I don't think, I kind of think that passing $500,000 on, through and 4 different items related to a thing and the consent agenda that maybe, so there is light on exactly where the dollars are going and how they're being spent. I went back through here and I know part of it is, for a fence, that's, going to protect it, but I went back and through the items and I couldn't see exactly where that fence fell into the plan. So I would be okay with a review.
Okay. Michael, you have any objection or any thoughts on this?
Well, I believe we did discuss this, maybe not in extreme detail, but I know we discussed the project and the need to upgrade and modernize that, economically obsolescent facility out there. So I don't see this as a surprise. And I think, just like we invest in other parts of the city to modernize it and make it safe for our employees and staff, I'd be more in favor of going ahead with it. And
Okay, well, hearing all the different opinions, I'm just going to make the decision. We're going to pull it off. We're going to discuss it in regular, and just so that we have some discussion in open forum and have complete transparency. So, see Kevin out there. So, be prepared there he is, to be prepared to discuss. And I assume you had some kind of presentation you could give us, or? You will have one. You will have one. Okay, thank you. So we'll pull items 2, 3, 6, 7, and 8 off of the consent agenda. Terry, do you have anything else? Mike Baumgartner.
No issues.
Mike Driscoll.
No.
Crystal, anything further? Okay, so hearing none, we'll move on to item A2. I'm going to read that in. So we're going to receive a legislative update from our state representative, Julie Johnson, on how the legislative session is going. I do not know if she is available at this time. I wanted to read in the item. That's item A2. So when she becomes available, I'll get notified up here, and then we will either pause, or if the item's about to close, our discussion's about to close, then we'll immediately go to her, because she's in and out of hearings and sessions. So since she is, I'm getting the head shake that she is not currently available, so we'll go on to item A3. And we're going to receive an update from the Parks and Recreation Board from Ms. Jan Wilbridge.
All right. First of all, our mission is basically to understand residents' needs and desires for recreation and to help identify changes and updates to improve the quality of life for the residents. The board then works with staff to develop and make recommendations to City Council for any changes or improvements that we identify. We do meet once a month on the third Thursday. We've been meeting virtually for the past year, but last week we had our first in-person meeting, so we're back to doing that. All members attend regularly. We've not had any unexcused absences, and all members actively participate in discussions with pertinent questions and suggestions. There we go. First thing I'd like to talk about is the rec center renovation, which is almost complete. As everyone knows, there will be a grand reopening on Monday, the 26th at 6 p.m. I was over there just last week and got to walk through, and it's really, if you've not been, it's looking remarkable. The paint, the wall treatments, everything that they've done, floors, have all made it look bright and open and airy, and I think very inviting to people who come in to work out. There's been a lot of new equipment installed, and a lot of that information came from a focus group that we helped facilitate, where members were asking for new and different equipment to improve their workout. So we also have been doing upgrades and replacement of equipment at 2 parks. Mallon Park was able to be upgraded. We received a grant from Game Time that covered about 50% of the cost of that, so we were able to move that ahead a little bit on the schedule. And then Orrin Good has been getting upgrades on their equipment, playground equipment, and that one is almost finished. And as you all probably know, the Parks and Recreation Department has a master plan of keeping up with the parks, the equipment, doing improvements, all in addition to just general ongoing day-to-day, week-to-week maintenance. Special events. Our special events team has been able to provide a variety of events. They've had a lot canceled during the pandemic, but they've been able to come back around and plan and execute safe events. And Jeff Fairchild is even in demand with his team to talk to other cities and organizations about how do you do this? Teach us what to do. So Farmers Branch and the special events team has taken the lead in this really throughout this area and the state. And Jeff is going to be speaking to some of those people to help guide them through that process. Let me see if I can tell you some of the things that we've done through special events. Let's see. Well, Denton Drive Live has received a 2020 DFW Directors Association Excellence in Arts and Entertainment Programming. They, they meet and talk about trends in the industry, ideas, solutions to issues, and so forth. And One of the yearly awards presented is the Excellence Award, and that was presented to our special events team. They've also done they've renewed the outdoor rink, ice skating rink partnership for another 3 years. That went well, and so we're going to be doing that again. They've added some new holiday decor pieces for the front lawn of the police station headquarters, and that brought in a lot of attention. People could really see that driving by. Of course, many of the holiday events did have to be canceled, but then they came up with creatively using the fire department and the police department for Santa to make the rounds. He did a 33-mile drive through neighborhoods and apartment complexes and so forth to be able to be a presence for the kids and the families. Let me see if there's anything else. I mentioned Jeff Fairchild's going to be speaking at the Texas Travel Alliance Conference in Austin next week. Other awards and achievements which have been presented. This year, the Park and Recreation Department as a whole received the TRAPS, Texas Recreation Association Award, State of Texas Gold Medal for excellence in the field of recreation management for 3 years in a row. So it was presented in 2020 for their work in 2017 through 2019. And overall, that it's only presented to one. Cities are divided up into classes by population, and only one city in a class can get that award. So we stood out in that one. The Aquatic Center received the Texas Public School Council Award for Agency of the Year in 2020. And that recognizes the highest level of effective aquatics programming. One of the key things that the staff did last summer was create a safe and socially distanced swim program, and by the end of the summer, 300 children had learned to swim, but it had been done safely, so they were not likely to have any issues when being in the water. I've already mentioned that special events got their award, and then there have been a variety of other awards or recognitions. The Aquatics International Magazine recognized Best of Aquatics in the social media category. Ashley Munoz was named Competitor for Aquatic Professional of the Month for January 2020. Paul was named Professional of the Month for August of 2020. And then, let's see. Let me move on down. Whoops. Okay. One last thing. TRAPS has recognized Farmers Branch Parks and Recreation both at the local, the regional, and the state level. So there have been multiple awards that have been presented to them. Are there any questions?
Thanks, Ms. Woolridge. Jan, I'm going to open it up to questions in a second, but I wanted to personally thank you for your dedicated service on the Parks Board. I know that you're terming out this time. And while you'll have a need a break, we hope to see you back in the future. And but thank you so much for everything you've done in leading and shaping our Parks Board and helping and guiding the Parks Department here. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. It's certainly recreation and parks are my passion, and I've enjoyed doing it. So, and we've seen a lot accomplished while I've been a part of that board. So
yes, we have.
I've enjoyed
yes,
that.
We have. So thank you so much. I'm going to start off with Mr. Driscoll. Any questions for the Parks Board?
Thank you. I don't have any questions. Just like to thank you for the very thorough presentation, and I'd also like to just thank you for your efforts over a long period of time, and also to the rest of the people that serve on the Parks and Rec Board. And we're very blessed here in Farmers Branch that we have so many people that do step up and have a passion about one area, one department or another in the city, and devote a lot of time and effort. And just want to say that's well appreciated, and keep it up. And you certainly deserve the awards.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Terry. Crystal.
No questions. Just want to echo the sentiments of my fellow council members. Thank you so much. There's been a lot of really great changes going on in our city, so that's a testament to the work that you all do. So thank you so much. We'll miss you, but we hope to see you back soon.
Thank you.
Mike.
And I'll just repeat what Crystal and Councilman Driscoll said. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilch. Appreciate it. Well, item A4 is discuss future agenda items. So I'll start with those of us that don't have much future left. Mr. Baumgartner.
I have nothing at this time.
I also have nothing at this time. So Mr. Lynn.
I would like to have at a upcoming meeting, a conversation regarding police compensation and our hiring strategy, as well as a competitive analysis of what we're doing to attract officers and fill the positions that we have open. You know, it concerns me in this day and age that it's getting harder and harder for us to hire police officers, and we shouldn't have to lower our standards just to fill positions open. So I'm hoping that because this is somewhat of a personnel issue, that the city attorney will allow us to do this in an executive session versus in a public forum. Certainly the findings could be released in public forum, but we need to be able to have some discussion about some sensitive issues. So I am asking that that happen sooner rather than later, especially in light of what happened on our own property here this morning. So,
Thank you. I'm not going to take that any further now. You can give us your opinion at a later time, Mr. Smith. But we know we do have the 5-year compensation study ongoing, so it might be best at a future time to do that. But thank you for that. I've got it. So anything else, Terry? Mr. Driscoll.
I have no items right now. Thank you.
We'll come back to Ms. Ratana.
Thank you. I just have one item. I want us to discuss our boards and commissions process and really look at what others are doing around our city, just to be able to have more discussions around some of the individuals that are applying. And it's so exciting that we have so many great individuals. So maybe it's time to just relook at the process a little bit. And I'll defer to our city manager if it's something that we need to do during a briefing or maybe even during a strategy meeting moving forward, since we're so close to our process now. I wouldn't want to deter from that. But just something that I would like us to bring up for discussion at some point in time.
Okay. All right. Well, that concludes our item A4. If everybody will excuse me for a second, I want to confer with our attorney on what our options now.
So you can recess this, or you can move it to the regular meeting. So you can recess and come back at 5:30.
She's going to be at 5 p.m.
Oh, 5 p.m.
Yeah, so it's awkward.
One of the first items on the regular agenda is the economic development video.
Yeah.
Can you move that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try to do that. Okay, folks, here's the update. Ms. Johnson is not going to be available till about 5 p.m. We are completely done with our study session, and we do have items that we need to discuss in executive session. So what we're going to attempt to do is see if she can come back and speak to us during item J1 on the regular agenda. If she's available, that would probably transpire, say, 6:20 or so. And we will then push off the economic development update to a later time. So that's where we are. I'm sorry that those of you that came and wanted to see that, but hopefully we'll have it in our regular session. And if not, then we'll try to reschedule her. So I'm going to read in executive session. If you'll give me just a second. Council may convene into a closed executive session pursuant to section 551.072 of the Texas Government Code to deliberate regarding, discuss the purchase, exchange, lease, or sale of real properties, 3940 Spring Valley Road and 3048 Primrose. So with that, we will adjourn to executive session. Thank you all for attending.